and welcome to Sullivan's Farm again. I'm not one for New Year's resolutions or any of that old kind of a new year, new me carry on. But I think it's inevitable at the start of the year that you look ahead and you think, what couple of jobs can I do this year that will make life easier for man and beast over the coming winter or over the coming summer or whenever. There's no kind of long-term targets or anything like that here. I think the world is too random and too globalised and all that kind of carry on to kind of be foolish and set specific targets. I think what you can do is to identify a few little jobs that will help, that'll make a difference. So in no particular order, here are a few that I'm hoping to do this year. Probably the most immediate thing to do is to get the wainlands out onto grass as early as possible. That for me is maybe the last week of February, depending on the weather. There's not enough bales to keep them going till then. Now I'll bring out a few bales to them again whenever I get a few dry days, so that'll kind of stretch it for a week. They're still going through kind of 2 days per bale, so even 3 or 4 bales would stretch them for another week. But I'm also going to do a grass walk next week as well. Now that's not going to magically change the weather or make grass grow if it's not there now, but it'll give me some idea as to where we're at, and all going well then they should get out the last week of February. Smaller group in the shed would benefit from getting out early as well, but there's not the same imperative or there's not the same motivation to get them out there as there is the bigger group outside. Another thing I'm hoping to do is to cut the silage maybe a week earlier again, weather dependent of course, that goes without saying with everything. If we can get it cut maybe a week earlier, the quality will be a little bit better. Another small thing I'd like to do is to mark which bales came from what paddocks. So before we bring them in, just put a simple little mark on them, a 1 or a 0 or something like that on them. And then we'll see whether the type of grass and the type of soil and all that kind of stuff has much of an impact on the bales when we open them. See, still a good few left there. I'm not sure how many, if any, now I'll be selling, but look, we'll get to that at some future stage. But last year, some came from old permanent pasture and more bales then came from fields, say, the near knock that was reseeded the year before. So I'd just like to see if that comes through, and when we open the bales in October, November, is it noticeable then which bales came from which field? And I'm not sure what I might learn from that, but look, we might figure something out. Another job will be to price digging out and putting in a three-bay slatted tank here at the far down end of the cubicles. That's what I was talking about in the last video. And thanks a million again for all the comments and the ideas there. I think there was unanimous condemnation of the plan to dig out the concrete inside in the new shed. So I'm going to price it here anyway. I've kind of a rough idea in my head, but I'd like someone else to say it out loud to give me a proper heart attack as to what digging out there might cost. And I'm not committing to anything one way or the other, but just knowing the price of that is just another piece of the jigsaw, really, and it gets things kind of a little bit straighter in my head, or maybe it rules out certain options. Where I'm standing here below the cubicles anyway needs to be cleaned off, because there's stones and kind of a half a dumping ground for clay there too, and it's become a breeding ground for nettles, which are awful to look at, and obviously the cattle can't eat them, so it is a bit of a waste. So we'll get this cleared off, if nothing else anyway. If there's nothing ever built there, we'll get this cleared off, and if we can get the timing right, then it can be reseeded at the same time as the field where the wainlands are is being reseeded again. Kind of turn it into a bit of a field again. Another little job at the yard there then to do is to sort out the potholes and a few cracks in the concrete where there's a little bit of a belly after appearing in the middle of the yard, which makes it harder to scrape out. But because, being part-time, it'll probably take me a week to organise that and to get it done. Another job I want to get around to is buying a topper. I think I mentioned that previously, and one of the jobs for that is to tackle the rushes here. There I am, is to tackle the rushes here in the far out knock. After topping or mulching up the rushes then, I think the next job will be to spread a bit of lime on them. Hopefully that'll kind of break them down as well. And then 2-3 weeks later, we will try to get some, I think it's MCPA, the spray, on top of them, on top of any of the green shoots that come back up. We might spread fodder rape out there and outwinter the wainlands and then reseed it. But look, all these things take time. There's no quick solutions to any of it, nor should there be. Oops, mind the drain. I'm taking a shortcut across the alder here now, after being out in the far out knock, back to the shed to feed the cattle this evening. What I want to do with the topper as well is not just manage the rushes or mulch them or do whatever with them, but to top the fields, the paddocks where the cattle are grazing as well. Now, the industry experts would tell you that's a waste of time and a waste of diesel. but I want to see if I can cut inedible plants, say like nettles and thistles, knock them down to the ground and hopefully have them decay. That might build up the organic matter in the soil, and that'll make the soil more healthy, as well as giving the grass a chance to outcompete the nettles and the thistles the next time around. So we'll see how that goes. It'll be a long-term project, but sure, look, if I've the topper, I'll be able to find out myself whether it's worthwhile or not. So that's it, the couple of jobs that I have planned for this year. Thanks a million for watching and for liking and subscribing and that carry on. And now that I've said those jobs out loud and said them in public, I hope I'm more likely to do them, because I'll have to give an update at some stage. So thanks a million for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Good luck.